All work undertaken by Aegis is carried out to the highest standards of professional competence and integrity.
When we first started into theater, we were briefed on Peruvian and Colombian guards, and the natural question you ask is, so what do you pay for these folks? At the time, and I'm playing off memory cells, but I'm pretty good at that, it was about $1,000 to $1,200. And then, I don't know, 6 months, a year ago, it became Ugandan guards at about $800 a month. And we'd ask the question of security companies because of this lowest price, technically acceptable rush to the bottom is what some call it. Why Ugandans now versus Peruvians and Colombians? And I said, we don't have a chance to get the award unless we use Ugandans because they're $200 to $400 less. And now on this most recent trip, the company that is winning all the awards that had this, was the first I'd heard of, well, we've got good strategy, we're using Sierra Leoneans. And so you ask the question, so what are we paying for them? It's about $250 a month. Well, I guess rhetorically, I don't expect you to answer it. Can we go a little lower? Could we find someone that's like, we'll do it for board and room? That has such a terrible country that maybe they'll just go out of the country and be a free security guard. I mean, that's pretty inexpensive. I say that, it sounds facetious, but it's real. You get what you pay for.
The original goal was not to bring soldiers or ex-soldiers from the poorest countries on earth, but the U.S. bidding system requires that you pick the lowest bidder. So it became the status quo in Iraq to have multiple layers of foreigners as long as you were in the army and you meet certain criteria. And sometimes you don't have to be in the army to meet this criteria.
Companies' self-interest is different than national self-interest. Companies are profit maximized. It's what they do. That's natural.
200 meters, target in front of you, fire!
What do you do if you have somebody from the Philippines working for an American private military company in Afghanistan who kills somebody? What jurisdiction does that person fall under? We don't know.
In about 15 countries, I've been involved in programs to reintegrate children who had served in armed forces. It's a contradiction in terms. On the one hand, Western countries have pumped large sums of money into the reintegration of former child soldiers. But now we have governments like the US supporting these so-called security companies that recruit people and continue their exposure to violence and cement their identities as perpetrators of violence, as soldiers, that make it impossible to ever reintegrate into civilian life.
At one time, when the rocket came into our camp, it killed a lot of coalition forces. I was on top of the tower, looking down where the explosion is taking place. I think about Sierra Leone when people are dying on the street. The explosion is taking all over the city, and at any time, had a gunshot, had a bomb, or whatsoever explosion, I think about my country, what happens here before.
When the blood was in Iraq, the first thing for the Iraqi demonstrated and entered into the camp, full force. So that time I remember, so this is the war, and this is what happened in Sierra Leone. You see. People running in the camp, in the camp, they are fighting for water or light or whatever, they're fighting for Iraq. I feel uneasy again. I feel uneasy. No, this is not good. But because of money, I'm jobless. I don't have a job.
It may seem like an act of free will, it is not. Young people in Sierra Leone have no jobs, they're desperate to feed themselves and their families. The end result is that it becomes harder and harder to ever find their way back into civilian life, and they may plant seeds of violence wherever they go. It is well known that young people who have extensive histories of violence and being fed drugs and manipulated, over time they develop problems of impulsivity, high levels of aggression. You know, we pride ourselves on being a moral people, trying to do the right thing. What we're doing is we're exploiting people, using young people who've been child soldiers, deliberately sending them into the jaws of combat and further violence. Nothing could be worse for these young people. Nothing could be worse for security.
There's a close connection between this industry and policymakers. These private military firms really poach retired general officers and admirals from the armed forces because they have connections.
I came to rid Basra of its enemies, and I now formally hand Basra back to its friends.
I say that, it sounds facetious, but it's real. You know, you get what you pay for.
The private security industry will continue to act for governments. And you're going to see private companies literally engaging in warfare.
People care a lot when a dead soldier or a dead Marine shows up in this country, and we start asking ourselves, why did they die? What were they fighting for? Nobody bothers to ask about dead contractors.
Every American who serves joins an unbroken line of heroes. I am awed by their sacrifice.
menen gitamen no kala won to nyamgol ala yadgol ala goto anda e ko woni jiba joni kadi kure o men hettema ka men hettitama
joni ko menen kipi hano hewtiri gaade hano min wattiniri gaade.
There's no one going to go out and protest in the streets if a contractor is killed.
Country still exercises its foreign policy, the use of force and violence in these foreign regions, but is using proxies, contractors, third country nationals, and obscuring their role. You think, how did a Ugandan end up in Iraq? How did somebody from Sierra Leone end up in Afghanistan? It's really your money, it's your tax money, doing it, but making sure that politicians don't get in trouble.
Private military contractors make a decision to go to war a lot easier.
Because part of ending a war responsibly is standing by those who have fought it.